Winthrop University going up against Cubert Academy. Everyone is here. Tenz is on the neon. We got Ali on the ISO. Ash, we got a banger of a match ahead.
Well, as a Cypher rule, but man, who cares? Tenz is playing, and he's playing neon.
Yeah, whatever you want, baby girl. You can have any agent.
Exactly.
Just help us win, bro. Please, bro. I need the win, bro.
And he is.
But it's working. Got to go fast. And Cubert Academy ready to step up, but as soon as the smoke comes up, did not want to get hosed down by Winthrop. So Cubert Academy not going to play as fast and loose yet. Well, Infiltrator was gonna flank, and then that happened. But hey, Cubert Academy are marching.
Right now, though, you still have Tenz inserted into the C cubby. So as it's not really being spotted by the camera yet, Tenz could actually start pulling rotates when he starts moving up and breaking this camera. But because they've already forfeited the whole sewer side for Cubert Academy when they've lost Reduxx at the very beginning, you can't really walk back into A. So they decide.
And I would like this recon to be used first so you can at least assess and get some attention. Shots towards the recon. It's been messy, but a big opener. As it's a double kill for moves. And Tenz has to pick things up, and not even the GOAT can do it all. So Winthrop will take the pistol. He's gonna drone out, see who's there. And Reduxx is ready to fight, even while pinged. Big win for Ali. Got the double tap out, but not expecting that much smoke. The big double kill for T-Dog sets up Cubert for success. Now with the smoke in place, they'll get to cover their tracks and think of what's next.
That was also part of the plan. Reduxx letting himself getting Owl Drone, getting picked off so T-Dog can pick up the Guardian and get 2 kills. So they went for a force buy after getting a plant for Cubert Academy, but it's not the good old trusty stinger buy. They tried to go for range because of this type of map where you're trying to go for picks at the long range distance, and you can't really use util to open up sights, so nice little picks to start.
Good fault line from Nismo, and Winthrop have to now battle through the smoke, depending on how Zero wants to pop out. Infiltrator with a big tube. Timing. Now it just moves in a 1 versus 2, and it's good effort.
Tail being nerfed down, and you're also having T-Dog playing a Sova. You're just trying to leverage distance instead, and it works out. They were able to compose themselves on 2 great openers on trades, get a plant, reset the economy for Winthrop University, put them onto an eco, and force them to push for information. There's already a camera up for Reduxx that's going to force a TP away. That's space gain now for Cubert Academy to fight towards the C side against Moobs again.
Thought Moobs was going to have a good tap there. A lot of smokes are hindering Cubert, and it's 1, 2, 3. Infiltrator gets lucky through the smoke. And Cubert Academy really like to pivot back and forth, and it's going to be hard for Winthrop to keep up with this, as Winthrop aren't going to try and push their luck on the flank, and not again. Now exploring through courtyard. Got garage control, but where this ISO is inserted, where Ali is, could catch Cubert. And well, I guess Flare is going to peek out of garage and get the spike down. Going to cause some activity for Cubert to recover that. I'm surprised that Flare and Ali didn't want to try and go for more. Still an important cutoff point. Tenz is down, traded by Reduxx. The spike continues its way over. Maybe gonna need some help though from Knights, especially with the paranoia, but now deciding, okay, there's way too much danger here. They're gonna go through A.
Well, it's so hard for them to get map control, and they've already lost T-Dog in the very beginning. You can't drone into garage. You're trying to group up to hit up the B site so that it's easier for you to entry, but Nismo just got caught off. The silver lining, at least, is that they have an open site for C to plant, and they also have better weapons to work with in the post plant, because nobody really picked up, and only Flare finally picked up a rifle here.
Shot bolts and recon so annoying out of Nasi and Cubert. Pull and see how Cubert are going to try and oppress them, but now it's a walk up through A. Keep in mind, though, Ali could be on the flank here, and it will be watched, not with the trip from Reduxx, but just himself, and at least he could have the assistance of T-Dog to try and turn around, but this is still a save from Cubert, so you need as much of a buddy system as possible, and this is going to recruit the entirety of Cubert to turn around for this flank, and it's just so much damage from Ali and Infiltrator, but at least that flank is snuffed out. Flare is up next. Gets the spike down. Reduxx is trying to dance, good pivots, good swings, but Flare is better with a better gun. It's just Knights. He's like, I got the site clear, guys.
30 seconds
Space
left.
is made. And he's got to try and play with his team a bit more. help them out in these situations so the trades can go more their way.
Yeah, if anything, though, you have to give it for win. They've been dominating every single team in challengers in North America, winning the last 4 and not giving any opportunities for their opponents to get more than, like, what, 5 or 6 rounds. Yet Winthrop University is definitely making them run for their money so far on their attack side.
Just an unmitigated op shot. It's that first blood for Winthrop, saving Knights to, well, he could teleport over wherever Cubert decide to go, but now that they don't have Nismo, though, that really sucks because usually you'd like to fault line that box within the site of A and she uses the entirety of his kit to really explode onto the site. So Infiltrator has flashes and dimensional drift too. You can kind of solo hold this if needed. See what Cubert have up their sleeve.
Yeah, it's a simple just take the site. They should smoke. I mean, they should have smoked Heaven at this part. They went a little bit too late, or too early rather, before the smoke bloomed. Yes, he gets traded out, but they're still running out of players now in the post plant for Cubert. Thankfully, finally Knights gets a pick.
And Winthrop lose the op too, so Cubert equal numbers. Arrow's gonna be Heaven, taken. Sova through the front door. Nasi with shock bolts. Not feeling like he has enough time to flesh out these zones, and Nasi tries to do it all on his own. Now it's just up to Flare. Good paranoia. She could have combined that with his teammate. Perfectly synchronized, but now time is running out, and Cubert have all their bases covered as Flare chases down this last person. T-Dog is running for his life, buying time, and still very early from Nasi detecting something from Cubert over at A, and it gets the spike down, so Cubert already have a setback. Kind of want to see Tenz activate, especially with the overdrive, and that's an offensive Hunter's Fury, and Winthrop hit backs against the wall, but there's a bite from Winthrop. They will not be evicted, not without a fight, but Fraggers from Cubert get into position, and it's just T-Dog left with a bark, and against Moobs and Alley, just kind of a sort of high-low going on. T-Dog has shock bolts, but, oh yeah, Recon too.
It just came back up. That said, though, with 50 seconds left, he's probably going to have to recon to find info, but that's at the risk of giving his own position away.
Hearing some walking near the door, too, so. Of course, they have eyes on the spike. Winthrop aren't going to be forced to move. Now you're giving them a chance to reposition, but T-Dog is also faking, making it look like he's maybe moved through main. And had this isolated 1v1 against Alley, but
regular roles for him to go back into the controller role.
Oh wow, we wanted to see Tenz get fast, and gets the life snuffed out of him by Flare sitting in B. Weren't expecting Winthrop to just be within B so fast. Usually you can hold the sides of it. Cubert, oh, they're testing out something new, being aggressive, being able to run in. That's not going to work out. Camera's not going to see much too over in sewers, so Cubert are constantly having these rounds in 4v5s, and it is just pistols, so it's to be expected. Now just walking down through courtyard, now it's just a training range, and just get the one bot down. 3 more to go for Cubert. Now they still want to try their hand at B.
Yeah, thankfully you're quick to react on the side of Cubert to get a pick. You bring up a weapon, and Nismo has a chance now to put up some numbers on the board.
Constantly traded, though, out of Cubert, so it is going to cost a lot of weapons out of Winthrop.
Last player standing.
Oh, Nismo's trying to break into C, and a cage trip potentially was going to get in his way. So Winthrop are building themselves quite a lead early, and
unfortunately, it doesn't hit anybody, but I like the idea. So you had the undercut coming out here from the B site with the flash, or the smoke rather, but at least Knights is able to answer back into the garage.
I know exactly
was gonna hit from Infiltrator too, and that's such a big win condition you remove from them. Neural theft because of that drop will give an advantage to Reduxx and friends of Cubert, figuring out which the weaker site is, and Flare throws a paranoia, but Nasi wasn't by his side, so they're gonna take a second to regroup. I like maybe just trying to hit a different angle too through garage. It is smoke though, and because Cubert have all 5 alive, they have so many bells and whistles for this post plant, even having a drone later on.
Yeah, I'd probably save for his Winthrop here. Even if you could buy within the next round, trying to make it expensive with his next thing. But after that HP remaining from Nasi, these last two guys have to save. I like the pivot though coming back from Cubert Academy. The play behind Winthrop University with what they're trying to do with the shock dart combination with the undercut towards A was to get some double damage, some instant kills. But if they don't spot any pressure coming out from the A side, an infiltrator is going to be ready and anticipates the pivot back or control here towards grass. You're playing a Yoru.
Tapping that smoke this time, but Cubert like to hang back and wait for that approach. It's a teleport in the offensive omen. It's a pivot towards Garage. Cubert are working the map and Winthrop trying to keep up. Entry into C. You got the neon wall splitting up and not letting moves get too much vision. The paranoia through. Cubert just are getting surrounded and they need to pick an angle to dominate in. And with Infiltrator, it's going to be hard. Neural Theft is going to help Winthrop suss out where Cubert are going.
It's a solo A-hold from Ali. He already used a double tap, so 1v1 here. Oh, he's screwed.
Okay, at least the contingency to try and block some of this damage. He's gonna need help, and backup has arrived. 911, the ambulance for Winthrop has made its mark, and it's just Knights. He gets good trades, and it's Winthrop.
Already understanding the rotate over, the over-rotate from Cubert towards the A side.
Ooh. Finding Ali early, Cubert ramping up the aggression, reading Winthrop and adapting well. Now it's the paranoia that splits Cubert in half as Winthrop want to prevent this from getting too settled. Flare and Nasi do such a fantastic...
You know, a pivotal point into a controller role, into the Sentinel role as well for Cubert Academy, and now you're giving it to your main duelist guy to try to play it.
Okay, double swing is nice from Cubert on the lowered by. You do what you can, what you got. Winthrop are just constantly getting first bloods, though, and they're winning all these rounds from not even needing to defuse, but to just prevent Cubert from getting established, which speaks a lot to the confidence you have to bring in a match that seems so intimidating, not only for the stakes, but who you're going up against. How many eyes could be watching? Now it's a Hunter's Fury right through the heart of Knights, and it gets Cubert scrambling, and even a ping through main. Nasi's trying to prevent the plant.
Spike planted.
Now he gets on the high ground. That's left unsmoked. Cubert don't even have a controller. They have their own Hunter's Fury if they want to play through main. And now he's on the flank. Gets a last glimpse at Tenz before the punish is there. It's 3 and everyone just
add more synergy with Tenz coming into the roster and making things work off the fly. It's very difficult to do.
Oh, Ali's on his way with a contract, but it's 1 to kill, and he's kidnapping. I think that was Reduxx. So while that goes on, Cubert are just going to take a chill pill. And Ali wins that kill contract, ink to paper, and Cubert have a sewers push going, smokes, but because Cubert take long to get into the site, it allows for Winthrop to keep up with rotations, to be stacked, and even develop a flank every now and then, just like Ali did last round. Ooh, I like when you dodge in the camera too, like IRL, but shooting through the smoke. There's the vulnerable out of the ISO. Cubert just spamming through the smoke and moves with 30 HP. Gets 2 for the road, making it a lot easier for Infiltrator in this 1v1 against Knights, who honestly could have even teleported had that window, had enough time to plant. Infiltrator will be in heaven. Isn't going to spot any targets. And based on the plan, he's in hell and sends him right there. What a flick from Infiltrator. The smoke is not going to isolate them, so a tough duel. Like now, actually, that Yoru has an isolation, and that's an opener against Nisbo, and runs headfirst into Knights and puts him to bed and opens up the B site for Winthrop to carry through, and there's only so much space he can make. Winthrop will have to make do, and on the flank, T-Dog with 10 HP, open for a backstab, isn't going to have the right timing, but in the front line is Reduxx and Garage. Ready to swing, but Flare's ready. If Reduxx wants to follow through, and that's good backup. This is a good Winthrop pistol, at least in terms of health, but Winthrop still don't know where T-Dog is, I believe, so this backstab could still be huge. He's catching Flare, takes his time. Tenz has the most health too. Nasi's gonna turn around to
30
deal with
seconds
Garage,
left.
so
One
Tenz just has to
enemy
finish up this round. No, Nasi! That's nasty! They're trying to get mileage out of it to see if Cubert were gonna get Desper, maybe a stinger by and just run it down or whatever they were gonna have. The Outlaw's great for that distance, and Moves is great for the first blood, but staying within the smoke. Reduxx with the shorty puts one down. There's a few more to go. Through Garage, Knights is denied an angle that could have caught Winthrop by the Achilles. And this round feels pretty secure for Winthrop.
Planted.
Give me 4 Sheriff one-shots, Tenz. Stay on him and see what we get. The best thing they have is recon from T-Dog and then maybe get a pick through the recon dart. That might be the saving grace. But if not, Winthrop University is sitting comfortably at 11.
Fasty. Get as much information with what you can and really just aim check Winthrop, see if they can catch you. But this is, I mean, Winthrop hitting double digits, up to 11 this year. And Flair joining Winthrop has only been a blessing. And to kick off playoffs with an 11-3 against still a really remarkable team says so much to the amount of work. And Gomper's talked about just the grind of doing collegiate, multiple tournaments there, to playing in challengers. Like, this is such good representation for what collegiate can do to support talent.
Yeah, Moobs is going to go after us again if they win this first map. That said, though, chances are on the side of Cubert Academy. The first pick did come through from Knights all the way towards Long C. And this bonus round that you currently have from Winthrop University is not the best for them to have a clean execute into the A site, because Infiltrator has an Outlaw to work with. So you're just trying to scan through, you're trying to force players out of position, and hopefully Infiltrator getting a pick off the Outlaw. But that site smoke being thrown out was perfect here so far for Cubert.
Infiltrator has to do this with the Outlaw, I guess.
Shorty.
Oh, Shorty, okay. That's where it is, and it's down on the ground now. Who cares what he has? Cubert just hold the line, and T-Dog is something else. Even combined with Tenz, they hold the wall, and they hold Winthrop back from the spike, too.
Gotta count your lucky stars, especially there for T-Dog to find that timing just before the smoke was about to dissipate. Just walks in.
Ow, what a gamble from Cubert. 4 stacked on the
It
right
works.
side. And it's working. You'll get moves and a fault line. It's trying to assist the rest of Cubert to collapse on this Winthrop entry. While the rest, okay, the spike is left behind. So Winthrop are like, hey, we got the site. Where's the rest of you? Well, Tenz will find the rest of you. And he gets the one. And Winthrop will march with what they have left. Infiltrator and Alley against Nismo and T-Dog with full util kill contract 1v1, and in real life 1v1 in the kill contract. Nismo shuts down Alley. This is what could help save Cubert Academy and give themselves more cushion against the 11 rounds of Winthrop, unless Infiltrator can speak a win into existence.
Flash gave his position away, but T-Dog doesn't want to drone himself to give his own position away. They just want to play the time. If anything, Hunter's Fury is going to be perfect in the last second when Infiltrator is going to try to plat. So you're just trying to play to your best of capabilities here with what you have in your pocket. Free kill.
It is done.
Free kill, patience.
Starting to feel that they could finish it, that they could finish Cubert Academy on this first map, but they just have to make sure here that they don't slip through the overconfidence that they're currently building.
Defensive Hunter's Fury just right through the throat, and just, okay, that open teleports out. That was kind of nice from Flair and Cubert. Are just hammering down the doors, and Nasi with the hero Vandal wants to hold down both doorways. That is ambitious. And moves will support Sheriff at a distance, but now smoked off. Winthrop are just gonna hope to spam through and use these shock bolts on the post plant. Wait for the smoke to dissipate. Hopefully it does so soon. Lucky spam through the smoke.
Oh, no.
And a roundabout. Red Tenz stopped, but the rest of Cubert pick it up, and the spike ticks down. It's defused. Cubert continue their streak.
I was about to see the vision there on the side of a lot of rounds strung here on the defensive side from Winthrop University in the very beginning. And now, oh, the TP!
What's going on?
How is he still alive?
He's going in blind. Tenz still there. And the flank is generated from Cubert through A. And the Hunter's Fury tries to pierce the hearts of the defenders. And Winthrop have an open sight, but Garage being pushed from Cubert. You got flashes from Nismo. Ready for the count. Paranoia too. Still, Nasi is still able to get one, but Nismo's just better.
I'll handle this.
Infiltrator. Dimensional drip through Garage, while the rest of Cubert wait for what information he could deliver them. Omen, Cypher within the site, Paranoia, contingency forward, a lot of space taken. The Judge, where the sun don't shine, and Cubert left to pick up the pieces, and 2 tripwires are going to stop Tenz on this flank, while Infiltrator heads back to dispatch that darn duelist. And it's not just him, it's T-Dog too, and Tenz has it off, which isn't the most easy thing to try and push 2 people. What a pinch from Ali and an Infiltrator. Now everything feels pretty set in stone for Winthrop. Nismo's on the site, but there's 4 ahead, and his position revealed, almost an ace. Don't have the luxury of having a breach or something easy to get into the site. I guess Infiltrator will just shoot better. And that's gonna weaken that and get Cubert to scramble to fill those gaps.
Playing in another player deficit now for Cubert Academy, and playing Sauceline on C, full retake, just counting on the trips for information so that you can double up into buddy system, and the buddy system gets fully denied in front of B site. That should be GG right here.
It's good teamwork out of Cubert, despite everything, even with the double swing. But Winthrop, just the patience really pays off. How they're able to work the map, but also execute a little bit faster at the end. You love to see Winthrop have just a shining moment early on in play on
that, right?
Yeah, right. Right. You got 2 duelists, so if one gets trapped by the vice wall, there's always another. But this also was a Winthrop University that started off 11-3 against Cubert Academy on Cubert's map picks. So see how Lotus will go. And Cubert Academy on their offense, they really like to work the map. Smokes up, they pivot. And, well, Bumps wanted to see a more aggressive Tenz on the Neon, and he slips right by, and they get hit by a Paranoia, though, from Player. And Cubert are going, they're trying to join the other team. They're going to the defensive spawn and not coming out with any kills. So Cubert will just have to play this from front to back, 3v5. It's just gonna be 5v nobody with Winthrop taking the pistol.
That was just a nice little, and that was a nice, again, answer back from Winthrop University off the fly. And a great start as they are going with full stingers, and should be an easy round because Cubert didn't go for a plant, so they can't go for a stinger by themselves.
Yeah, so much suppression from Winthrop when you got the raise nades, Infiltrator's whole kit, shock bolts, and already getting an early win in A lobby. They get the opener on C. Cubert haven't had a first blood in their favor yet. They can't even get the spike down. This was as I swear I was watching it. And Infiltrator
Instead, with the stinger buy that they had on that second round, but they still have a 4-player stack towards the A site, and Cubert's walking right into it.
They don't tempt him with a good time, and Ali won't be here for a long time either. Just walking past the smokes. Man, I love that fire out of Cubert. Finally picking up the pace. Nasi will walk away with 2, silencing Cubert, and what looked like a relentless run on this offense. But now the threat is coming from stairs. That's where they last saw Winthrop escape. So Cubert, the suppressing fire is there as they watch to see if Winthrop will repeat. As the dust settles, Cubert will have to make do without T-Dog and Tenz, which are going to be pretty important. Pivot into B. I love this read. Out of moves with a stinger. And oh, he just gets flashed and won't be able to do much.
Beautiful flash coming out from Nismo for that assist too. And I like the stop and go from Cubert, just to stay back, making sure that the players cannot upgrade into weapons, into rifles that were left behind here by T-Dog and Tenz. And even it's being watched still by Nismo here. And that's the idea from Nasi. Trying to upgrade into a Vandal and just keep it.
A search and rescue, or maybe an Easter egg hunt where you can find a gun, but solid round out of Cubert.
Yeah, he's got the Vandal behind him, but he doesn't want to pick it up yet because it will make the audio sound of him dropping the weapon. So he's just trying to wait the time and fake TP2 for him to activate the first cage. But because of this wall being set up and already Reduxx given up this area, this has to be like another stop and go back into the C site. And the fact that they've already used the one-way cage and already that second smoke, that's probably going to be a 14-second hit for Cubert Academy to fight into C control.
And just with vision from Flare into B, they know this door opening is probably fake. And Infiltrator would be in a position to counter if that were to be the case. So Cubert march on. They deal with moves in the corner. And Nasi gets caught a bit, but he escapes at the back. Waterfall, Flare emerges. He's alone. Nasi's smoked off. And Cubert just dispatched one problem at a time. But still, we can't give up on Winthrop. They just know how to strike back when the odds are against them, but Cubert closes it out.
All right, hero rifle, because he could overdrive into the next round with Winthrop University's buy. So I like this coming out of them.
Yeah, same reaction, 5 HP too.
Exactly. Flare hit him for 145, which would have given a chance for that trade to happen. But then, unfortunately, the window closed. Infiltrator couldn't capitalize on that kill onto Tenz. And that gives a chance here for Winthrop University, or rather for Cubert Academy, to really just work the map and maximize the orbs.
Threw away from the Rolling Thunder, which is just going to be the most critical ultimate for Cubert. This Infiltrator will be at the back with that Hero Vandal, and if he wants to keep it, better be careful. His moves won't be able to help him unless he pushes past the smoke, and he does, but the paranoia from Cubert may have caught moves and puts him in a very awkward spot. With Infiltrator going 1-for-1, not bad. Nasi with the Sheriff, a hope and a dream.
Infiltrator and Nasi going to work together to try to pinch towards the seaside with the overdrive.
Ooh, Infiltrator heating up, and the pings through the wall, the overdrive! Oh, just takes care of most of Cubert. But wait a minute. What is going on? Flare is cooking. And he's lighting up too. That's been snuffed out. And with Winthrop just sizzling in this round, you thought that Cubert, this is just going to be a quick round. We're actually in a 2 versus 2. Oh, a Steel Garden. Okay, we're trying to chase whoever this is. Nasi just trying to get away. And a Nightfall infested too. And just one darn classic could have ended all of Cubert's hopes in this round. Now just a 1v1, T-Dog versus Moobs, spike in hand. Now it's a mind game.
Moobs will have all the information now. Trip and camera. We'll know that the re-hit's going towards that B site.
Where are you?
Okay. Both players exchanging util to try and find each other. But this trip is going to deny T-Dog from getting into A at least. Now Moobs knows there's nothing left. Wrapping around through stairs. Prowler's shot. T-Dog knows he's close. Trying to play the clock. Play his life. The re-swing! Moobs wasn't ready! Clutch for T-Dog!
And Reduxx to win that 2 versus 2.
Thought that overdrive was just gonna flawless. I mean, Infiltrator doesn't need an overdrive to sweep through Cubert. Now you got a showstopper too? Infiltrator, let him cook. Oh my god, Allie's involved too. Cubert just tried to brawl through rubble and just lost. That's all she wrote. Reduxx says goodbye.
Because he had been getting good value in breaking the util and leveraging the seaside takes and map control at the very beginning.
Cubert are trying to pick up the pace for C, knowing Winthrop had been sending 3 or maybe even 4 to the Rebel side, and Cubert want to hit the site while it's weak, while it's open.
Ow.
And Moves says open who? We're closed for the day. Picks up a 1, neural theft out, Winthrop are on the way, and it's Cubert that are floundering against the Winthrop that look really established. A 2 versus 2. Tenz gone, up to Reduxx, who's out of sight, out of mind. Now pinged by the drone. Nasi will spam through the wall with an Odin. And Reduxx takes a bit of damage. At least has the smoke still up to isolate, but Flare's gonna full commit to that Rebel side. If anything, they could be walking down mid.
What did the damage
tries
though?
To suppress them.
The early spray coming out now from the Odin from Nasi did some heavy damage onto Knights, which allows now the double push to come in from front B.
Yeah, and at the front of B is Ali. Also still has a nade. He wanted to try and escape, but he doesn't want to escape. He's bringing the party right to Cubert. 2 duelists in your face with a paranoia in place for Flare. Just waiting for the call.
There.
Cubert on the approach. Do they know they're about to walk into a trap? Nismo has some util of his own, tries to flash and Winthrop fire back. They got nades. Cubert have an overdrive. And it's a bloodbath, and Cubert aren't making any headway. Ali's just too clean. A 3K. The duelist. Hey. Winthrop again, rebel control, but quick to ditch the scene of the crime. Oh, I like that Reduxx is gonna try something new and actually push through Rubble solo. We'll have this 1v1 against Ali. He's gone. Now Cubert could try to chase us down for the trade. Ali's very injured, 20 HP, but there's support from Nasi still with an Odin. Loud and proud, and even a drone. Such good information, a good position for Winthrop too. Cubert are just gonna walk right into the line of sight of Nasi. There's no way. Tenz a victim too. And Cubert still have the spike behind. And Winthrop aren't taking advantage of any open space. If anything, this Infiltrator about to head first into Cubert, but there's a Nightfall breach util. There's only a defending Hunter's Fury that keeps Infiltrator safe from the swarm of bees that is Cubert.
Look at the HP after the Hunter's Fury. They're so low.
Another Odin travesty, but this time Cubert have a response, but there's only one person left
30 seconds
to take
left.
the test, and it's Knights in a 1 versus 3. At least he's got the spike. There's still a lot for him to clear by himself.
Exactly. And with the Cameron trip still up towards the C site, I mean, this should be an easy rotate after a plant for Cubert Academy. Unless they fumble the bag and are not coordinated on a retake, this should be an easy round now for Winthrop to take the lead 7-4.
Knights get a surprise. He was expecting a walk down stairs, and Infiltrator is low. Depends how Ali and Infiltrator work together. Ali down, Infiltrator is gonna swing solo. And that could have been deadly if Knights had stood there. Now moves an Infiltrator have synced back up, and the defuse is being held past the halfway point. And Knights!
But then that 2 versus 1, when Moves is moving forward, get it at half, double swing, try to fight him. It's easy for you to get wall banged.
I heard there's a party. It's just on the other side of the map. Ali's on the flank. Cubert don't care. They're heading to the left.
Party's done.
On the party. Okay, Steel Garden is gonna get both of Infiltrator, but I got finger guns. Steel Garden won't affect these in Cubert Academy. On the other side of that smoke, actually Knights teleported in or something. This is so staggered from Cubert. Messy rounds back to back from both teams. That ends the way of win.
A lot cleaner, at least this time for Cubert Academy, but maybe still not enough.
Winthrop are 3-0 on pistols. Taking everyone so far. And Winthrop got caught in a bit of a fault line. Just Nismo got blinded and he couldn't capitalize. Wall up. He just heard the reload, heard the boom bot. He's skipping across. That was fun. Meanwhile, Winthrop got an advantage going at C and a plant too.
And a huge numbers advantage of 4 versus 2. They can play within the site. They already have one person watching the flank.
Okay, Tenz slow check against Infiltrator, and just staggering in solo isn't going to help. So not a lot of blinds available for Cubert to go when it comes to stopping Winthrop getting in. But I guess who cares when Tenz is hitting headshots? Infiltrator, I guess, trades with double kills. So the advantage gone for Cubert. Now 1v1, that moves wins, an important one. This puts the red carpet down for the A site.
I almost had a chance there. You're trying to count the bullets. On the side, I think it was Nismo trying to swing through and get in that pick. Or at least on Reduxx. And unfortunately, it is going to be a win for Moobs with the Spectre against the pistols.
30 seconds left.
But yeah, we just walked into the crosshair for Tenz, gets 2 easy kills, but just selfless plays to allow Infiltrator to move through and get 2 easy kills across because he just walked into the site.
T-Dog come through the staircase, and having to push through tree is not going to be too easy. And clear around the site, the back site, this is just going to feel really impossible, but we've seen 1v3 clutches from Knights. See if T-Dog can pull this off. So tap the spike, maybe get their attention, get them into your crosshair, get them into your ballpark. T-Dog waits for the last second for them to exit, and
If you want to stay in the game, at least for Cubert Academy,
Standing ahead.
sooner than later. Now at least they have weapons to work with on the defense.
oh, okay, Knights stabilizes. Infiltrator was just testing him. This is mostly a save hero Vandal from Nasi, and that'll be behind. But Sacrificial Lamb, Valley goes forward. Yeah, he's got thorns in his way. He's got a thorn in his side, and Cubert are all over them like butter on toast, and the spike's right in front of him, and that's just dessert. So Cubert be able to try and close the gap in the score.
Yeah, very nice. Winthrop University, I mean, they are bringing weapons into this one, but it is a bonus round that you have here for Winthrop. And that's why I feel like Cubert Academy allowed themselves to be a little bit more complacent at the beginning here. Getting fully stunned, but still getting killed while stunned is quite nice there for Knights. And Reduxx there for the save, and a flawless is perfect, at least.
So we're Cubert. They're not too far behind. Some good flashes, good thorns. Reduxx with the setup, but needs to back up Knights, who's just a one-man army. We don't need a man.
Found my
Now he gets back to safety, and Winthrop have to figure out what's next.
one day.
Oh God, moves. Is he gonna do it? 1v3? Okay, good 2 for 1's not bad. And now you just opened up B. You're going behind rubble, so the options are limitless for Winthrop, although don't got a lot of manpower. Just a 2v2.
And that's the beauty of, again, that conditioning they're doing and the default that they're currently playing. Ali was able to walk into the B site, get the backstep onto Tenz, despite the good start that Cubert Academy had on that C site. So 2 players on both teams doing individual prowesses, starting off here on the side with Knights on a C mound, and then onto moves for Winthrop University. Now you have a 2v2, but the advantage is on the side of Winthrop because of the health and because of the time.
I just love what Ali was able to do this map. It's how much clearance he got through B, pinching around through rubble. Now work together. He trades, and Flare finishes up.
Here through challengers has been quite nice, and you've already seen it from Sato at the beginning, but we'll hold that thought. Here's some action. Players are dying. Advantage Cubert.
Fell over, folded like a lawn chair. What the hell just happened? And this is the type of Winthrop get close to the finish line and Cubert start the comeback. That's what you gotta worry about. You just gotta close it out.
Go round for Winthrop University. They shouldn't win this round, right? Oh, hold on. There's a showstopper first. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Thorns? Nope. Wow. Yeah, I guess, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Because showstoppers are just canceled like that. So 3 versus 3 on a couple players on Winthrop having classics. Wait a minute. Okay, neural theft from moves. This is possible.
No.
Knights in the picture, but moves is painting a different ending to this for Winthrop with the spike planted. And Knights at least with the paranoia, but okay. Moves down for the count. Knights position revealed. I see an infiltrator watching both sides of their fortress.
I like this.
You just want
3
Knights to
pistols and
save
2.
here? Is
3
it possible?
pistols? I mean, no, he's going to go for it. He has to. He's been feeling it so far on the defensive side. Yeah. I mean,
I like that.
yeah. And I think it was just Cubert giving him so much space, but speaking of space, they want to fight back here for Rumble Control again.
Oh, denial of the weapons, the owl drone, just to see the corpses left behind of Winthrop. They'll lose the war for Rubble once again. This Prowler won't get deep enough for Cubert. And now all rests on Knights with the Stinger, who's just not going to take the risk of getting his one. He'd rather be one with his team, and that means a plant for Winthrop.
Planted.
It's a silver lining, but we've seen scenarios here where Knights was able to clutch up a 1 versus 3 before, so player disadvantage could still be doable here for Winthrop University in this 3 versus 5.
Nightfall versus Hunter's Fury as Nasi hopes to keep the forces of Cubert at bay. And now it's a brawl within the sights. And just Nasi left. So many injuries, hemorrhages. A hospital that Cubert won't be able to access yet. And a peak. Unfortunate stops the defuse, but thankfully Knights is still there to end the day for Cubert Academy. And it's scary. Haven looks close only because Cubert came back 3-11. Infiltrator first blood against the king. And it's Winthrop will pick up the spike and feel inspired, but also look at what Ali is clearing. He likes to explore around B, finds the vice wall, which means, hey, this Sentinel may not be around C, or at the very least the wall isn't. And they've been able to read that Knights has been the solo holder of C, and he plays more passive. Cubert wants to really flank. Now the vice wall has been triggered for B. What's next for Winthrop?
That was the thing. If it wasn't triggered yet and they were trying to execute it in that Rolling Thunder could have done some good damage for Nismo. But now they have a chance to work the map again. One Prowler. What a fate coming through.
Cover going out.
Forces out the Rolling Thunder, but C site's open.
Yeah, the Rolling Thunder gets you a guarantee on Nasi, but Winthrop have evicted the rest of Cubert. They want to set themselves up for a match point, but I need this round to end before I really feel like there's going to be a winner. You just
I'm not going to say
know.
anything. This is all you.
Challengers fumble. Okay, T-Dog 1 versus 2. Just another day at the office, right? It's a familiar scenario for him. This time we'll be able to tap the spike. He has to walk past the smoke and have to have his crosshair immediately up. You don't know if someone's at the left corner. Try and draw fire towards him as Flare can have the smokes back up, and T-Dog is gonna fight for this tooth and nail. And he's revealed, come at me, bro. Can't deny the sort of changes that have been happening role-wise. I mean, even Reduxx, I thought, did a great job on the duelist last time, and it's first blood for Winthrop, and a save for Cubert. Not ideal to be playing Stingers at range against Nasi and his Vandal, and what he's been able to be for this team, which is impactful. And he's not even done his tear. Tenz has to pick up the pace and laser him down. Had to put down the gun to put down Nasi. It's another C hit.
Spike planted.
And the thorns from Cubert were not enough. Winthrop 4 versus 2. Semifinals ready. Knights on his way. What is he cooking? Oh, he can't go on the flank. That's denied by Infiltrator. Winthrop base is loaded. Base is covered. Looking for a home run. And it's Tenz and Knights. These together. Put the crack in the smoke. Exploited. Flare ignites.